You wanna go to the window, little buddy, to the window, little buddy. What's up, y'all? That's just it's a little song I was singing to my roommate's cat. I was bringing him to the window. I feel like it's good. You know, could have been like a Bee Gees hit or something. Anyway, it is I, Adam Pecora. Here we are. The Dirty Dozen episode. Not to be confused with the Baker's Dozen episode coming up next. But the Dirty Dozen episode, here we are. Numero dos. Get your eggs ready. Requiem for Tuesday. Here we are. Still mid-quarantine, still right in the thick of it. Trying to duke things out. I will get to this later, but I just wanted to say I do have a new EP out, streaming everywhere. I think there's some issues with the Spotify, distribution, actually. It may not be up on Spotify yet, but you can find it on Bandcamp, wolfx.bandcamp.com, or just look up Wolfx Home Invasion. The title of it is Home Invasion, and you probably won't be able to find it based on my name because we're just dropping everything on streaming now. So I do have a few other releases from the back catalog that are dropping on streaming services. A couple of them are already out. We got The Fix and Circuit Loop, which is cool. The rest of it should be coming as the quarantine progresses, so everything should be uploaded everywhere soon. So check that out. I'm going to dive into that. I think I'm going to do a little musical story time today, as nothing's really going on that we can really talk about. So yeah, going to get a little introspective, but that'll be coming. I wanted to start with something that everybody's been talking about, and that of course is Tiger King, one of the premier documentary series that I've seen in a very long time. I mean, I tried to get into McMillions. It keeps boring me. Sorry. Like, I'm sure it gets really interesting and really crazy, but I don't know. It's like I look at my phone, I look up, there's just some old lady in a chair, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm into this. It seems like it would be right up my alley, but sorry, Tom Segura's cousin. I didn't get into it. I gave it 2 tries. I think I'm out. I think I'm tapped out on that. I do need to get back into Watchmen, though. Fucking that up. I watched like 2 episodes. I was like, this is great. And then, I stopped paying attention, fucked myself over. Now, next thing, and then I fell asleep, and now it's on like episode 7, and I have to like figure out where I'm at because I was in a haze, the last thing I remember. So, it's one of those nightmare scenarios. So yeah, got to navigate through that. But I mean, it's like I think it's like the Jinx 1, Tiger King 2, like already. Can we say that? I mean, I'm probably forgetting something really major. Probably something that I've seen and loved also. Who knows? But as it stands right now in my head, like that's where we're going. I think the Jinx was unbelievable. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. On HBO, this guy was like a New York real estate like son. He was basically Donald Trump, and instead of like being a dick in the business, he just murdered like a bunch of like his wife, like because he couldn't handle being the Wall Street guy. So yeah, he's like Trump's brother, and instead of dying himself, he killed other people, and then he just like kept killing people for like different reasons. And just kept getting away with it. It's crazy. Awesome. Hot mic. First hot mic moment I've ever seen. It was awesome. Yeah, so watch that. But Tiger King, I mean, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Watched it in one sitting, of course, like right when it dropped pretty much, I think. Not really sure. We didn't know what we were getting into. I thought it was like a movie, or each episode was about another crazy animal person. And then it just kind of stayed on, and we're like, oh, I guess there's more. And before you know it, it's like, I can't even wrap my head around like what's going on. I'm losing track of everything. And yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely batshit insane. I don't really have anything to add that you haven't already heard, seen, or discussed. I would like to say I like the dude with no legs. the paragliding guy or whatever the fuck he did to do that. I mean, whatever. He was pretty chill. He seemed nice and cool and like pretty level-headed as possible. Like I guess in the midst of all that, the fact that in the middle of all that chaos, the dude with no legs who like lives in a trailer or wherever the fuck, like working on like cars that have been left for 30 years or whatever was happening. He's like restoring junkyards. I don't know what the fuck he was doing, but that guy seemed like a normal, chill guy. Like, it's insane. The fact that anyone in there exists is just a testament to how crazy Florida is. I cannot even begin to talk about how fucking nuts Florida is as a place. I mean, there just aren't words. It's a fucking shithole, and there's three places I want to go there, and that's it forever. So like, just get it away. Just go away, Florida. Florida man is the craziest shit ever. I've said it before. I'll say it again forever. Anyway, yeah, I liked the no leg guy. He was cool. But I just remember at the end he's like, divorced my wife, never been happier, and he's just like eating a sandwich, and he's content. So I'm like, you know what? Good for him. He made it. He's got those legs, the cheetah legs. If I lost my legs and they tried to give me some like flesh looking legs, I'd be like, no, 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 no. Give me the cheetah legs, okay? I don't care if I'm not an athlete. I want the cheetah legs. I want to go fast, okay? You know what I mean? I would walk everywhere. I'm sorry. There's nothing to get tired anymore. You know? Long distance walking, the whole issue is my feet. If I got these cheetah legs, I'm going to be springboarding all over town. I think that is 100% the move. Like, how could you not want to go for that? You know what I mean? And, yeah, and then the dude, Doc, who was like the cult guy, I totally believed every word of it, but then he was on Theo Vaughn's podcast, which is a crazy place to go to as a response thing. But it was awesome. It was weird because he seemed like a totally normal, chill guy, and everything he said kind of checks out, and it's like, should we trust all these crazy bumfuck people? Kind of seems like that guy's got his shit together now. So I don't know what to think about that. But yeah, I mean, I think that if you put some beats behind those country songs, we could have some real bangers on our hands, like pretty soon. You know what I mean? I think that we were just a couple, we're just a couple remixes away from some real nice country entertainment. And I mean, if all of this works out and he gets out of prison, Country Thunder 2021, we're gonna need country music. Once all this blows over, we're gonna get united by drinking Coors Lights, listening to Luke Bryan, that hip hop country. That's the shit. That's that real like that's that trashy banger, like nasty shit. You know what I mean? Like, you take Molly when you go to those concerts, like Florida Georgia Line, Luke Bryan shit, where they're literally just rhyming over like looped banger guitar country beats and talking about getting drunk and fucking. The difference is like the cars they talk about are mudders. They're for mudding and trucking and put my wood in the back. You know what I mean? Like, he's talking about pounding a chick on a flatbed, right? Like, those guys talk about fucking all the time. They're like, yeah, they're like, grab a cold beer, open it on her tits, And it's like, holy shit, this is provocative. And white people are just like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But turn that hip hop shit off. You know what I mean? Like, that's too vulgar or whatever they say. And it's like, do you guys not understand that these guys are saying the same things just from the perspective of a redneck? So it's all the South versions. You know what I mean? Like, they don't talk about rims, they talk about big tires. Right? They don't talk about jewelry. It's like belt buckles, hats, and boots. But like, they're talking about getting drunk and fucking, like being terrible husbands and fathers. Like, they're like, I'm gonna fucking leave and I'm gonna do what I want because it's America. They talk about having guns like crazy, but like in a Second Amendment way, not a gangster way. But it's like that hip hop country thing, and I'm not talking even like pre Old Town Road. This has been a thing, and nobody really noticed. I guess I think I've talked about this before, but it is just bad shit. Um, yeah, but like we're just a few remixes away from having Joe Exotic be in that territory, and I think that's really where he would shine is in like the bro pack country squad. You know what I mean? Um, that is not a white supremacist organization, just so you guys know. um, no, but yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like my whole thing is like, should it exist? No, probably not. I don't know. I think that that's the weird thing that Netflix kind of does. It's like, I guess I can't really think of an example right now, but it just seems like such a Netflix move to like have this like hit documentary series, right, with like a bunch of crazy shit, but it doesn't like do anything or like have a message. Right? Like I guess it's from his perspective, right? So it's kind of saying like let Joe out. That's kind of its whole thing, but I mean, it's not really like leaning in any direction. It doesn't really have a statement. It's just like here's a bunch of crazy shit. So like yeah, we're all eating it up, but I think that like from a documentary perspective, like it I guess it like just literally documents, but it doesn't have any type of like narrative, really. I don't know. I watched it over the course of many a drink. I do not have any desire to rewatch it, so I don't know. I could be fucking wrong about all this shit. I don't really fucking care. Anyway, yeah, it was fine. You know what I mean? Like crazy shit. But like as a piece of entertainment, it's like, it's all right. But the shit's nuts. So I mean, weigh that with however you want to weigh that. We can put that like, how do you put? It's like in a rewatchability factor, like The Irishman, maybe. I don't know because everybody like instantly was doing retroactive reviews because they watched it like a second time. It's like, are all these movie critics just doing the reviews on one watch every time? I mean, I don't know. That sounds both incredibly how it should be and both not at all how it should be. I don't know, because I feel like a music reviewer isn't listening to that album once. Although I wanted to do that as like, I think at one point that was just a podcast idea with like multiple people. I could do it by myself, I guess, but I guess I could do it on just like episodes of this. I could do like a series within this show that could be doing this, but it was like one listen reviews and but yeah, that was basically the idea. I wanted to do it with like really bad albums though too. Like I wanted the first one to be Kid Cudi's "Speedin' Bullet to Heaven." Like what a fucking atrocity. Uh, I've never finished it. I've never finished a song like start to finish from it. So I wanted us to like all listen to it, not like try not to talk to each other during, and just take notes, and then we just go over our notes for the whole thing. And it's a long record, so that one would have been fucking crazy. Cause I bet halfway through you'd just be like, make it stop. You know what I mean? But you can do it with good records, just new records too, whatever. But one listen review, I don't think that happens. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that anybody does that. I hope not, anyway. That doesn't make sense for music. I don't think it really makes sense for movies either. I just think that there's a lot to unpack. But I don't know. I also feel like if you're, like, at the film festival and you're going to write a review, like, you're going to see the movie once. So I guess for yeah, movies are weird in that like for reviews, I guess you would watch it once, and then like for awards, you would maybe watch it a couple times. Do you maybe still only watch it once, and like you focus on whatever the nomination is? So like, you know what I mean? If it's in the nomination for like supporting actor, do you only watch the supporting actor's performance? Do you watch the whole movie? Like, I wonder what's going on over there. You know what I mean? I just unpacked a lot. I'm asking the hard questions that nobody wants to that everybody's afraid of. You know what I mean? The big Hollywood gambit. They're coming for you. And you need to be ready, okay? Cuz when this corona passes, we're going to see a new Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. Just kidding. I mean, they're going to keep eating up all your fucking money on bullshit. So, maybe they'll like make an Avengers movie that doesn't require travel for anybody, so nobody gets corona, and then it'll be like better because it'll be shot like fucking like Clerks. You know what I mean? It'll be shot for. They'll have to pay $80 million just in acting, but then it'll be like a $20 million production. Let's give it that. That's a nice little shit bump in You know what I mean? Like in cost. I would love to see a character driven movie. Why can't it just be about like all the politics involved or something? I don't know. I don't really want to see a political thriller, but you know what I mean. Like what I had the same thing with Batman. Like just make a Bruce Wayne movie. Just do that. Period. Somebody please make it just about the day to day. I think that that's what I don't like. I mean, I get that that's the point of the Avengers is that like they're all avenging. So I guess the Avengers specifically they're always in costume. But I feel like nobody has like a personal life in any of that series. Tony Stark's is I guess the most believable, right? I haven't seen all of them, so I don't really fucking know. Whatever. But I feel like nobody just like goes home and you clearly have an idea of like their you know what I mean, their personal identity. I just want to see the guy like make a sandwich. Let him burn his hand on the stove. Like, make them seem like at least somewhat real at some point. Like, it's just too much like perfection. It's nonsense, And you never think they're gonna die. You know what I mean? Everybody acts like the whole fucking Endgame thing was so goddamn monumental. Like, there was already another Spider-Man movie about to come out, like 2 months later. It's like, that he's fine. So even though they did like the crazy ending, they didn't. And then they undid it in the movie anyway. It's like, you're still not listening. Like, everybody's still invincible because you brought it back. If you were truly trying to make a point that like, oh, you know what I mean? Everybody's wrong. Like, there is real stakes in these movies. There's not. You needed a way to write Robert Downey Jr. out of the thing because he was done. That's it. Like, nothing eventful actually happened. Everything worked out. It was great. Fuck. That movie sucked. I got dragged to that. I didn't want to go. And I'm still mad about it. How? How does everybody eat that up? I don't understand it. I don't know. Maybe everything else would just be too confused. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'm stressed out about it. But I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. I guess everybody likes it. What are you going to do about it? I'm going to start a petition to put an end to this mania. Whatever. I don't know. Go watch. I'm just saying, like, everybody's trying to support their local businesses right now. How about you support your indie filmmakers? How about we do that, too? Like, while you're quarantined, how about if you're renting a movie, don't rent the big budget studio picture. Maybe rent that cool little indie flick. Go watch The Lighthouse. I'm going to keep advocating for it until a lot of people have seen it. I mean, come on, watch something. You know what I mean? Like, watch Uncut Gems. Why are you watching fucking Gigatron 7? Why are you watching Transformers Dark of the Moon? Get the fuck out of here. It's garbage. Okay? Get a little substance going. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. America. You know what I mean? Put your 2-liter of Coca-Cola down, okay? And read something. Like, I don't know. I don't really read that much. I only read Vonnegut books, and I still haven't been doing it. We've been fucking quarantined like this, and I'm still just not reading. There are stretches of time where I'm like, man, I wish I had something to do. And then I'm like, oh, I got a book right there. I'm just like, I can't. Reading is such a mood thing for me. It's very strange. I don't know why that is. I'm sure I'm not the only one. But yeah, it's like if I'm not interested in reading like a book, I can't. But I could read an article. I could read hundreds of articles a day, no problem. I don't even think about it. I'm looking for more stuff to read. You know what I mean? But then when it comes to like, oh, here, read this narrative book. And I'm like, that's such a commitment. You know what I mean? And I don't even read like that. You know what I mean? I'm not like annotating, doing analysis. I'm like, can I keep reading? Like, you know what I mean? That's how I judge good writing. I don't know shit about actually analyzing any of the shit. I'm not gonna pretend like I do. Like, oh, this is actually about the Cold War. It's like, dude, that book was about the jungle. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, they were adventurers. And it's like, no, it's about the Cold War. And it's like, dude, I didn't get any of that. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Total surface level is all that I picked up pretty much. You know what I mean? Most of the time, that'll be the case. I like the Dexter series though. It's really good. I got into it after the show, and then the show broke my heart, so I kind of stopped reading the books because, God, I loved that show. Looking back, watching some of it, it wasn't as good as I remembered. I mean, I was like a freshman when I was really getting into it and like catching up to it in high school. By the way, long time ago, kids. That's like a decade ago. Jesus, I hate even saying it. Uh, but yeah, I mean, we all know how fucking terribly that show shit the bed. Worst fucking ending in history. I'm sorry. It goes against everything the character stands for and is about, and none of it made any fucking sense. And it was, yeah, just the fact that there like was a fucking hurricane coming and like come on, all of it was just so unbelievable. And he just got out of it. It was bullshit. I'm sorry. They did not even try. They did not even try. But yeah, I didn't like that whole last season. Really, the last two, I thought it was just hard to watch. It was terrible. But yeah, I mean, even at its peak, I kind of think now that it wasn't as good as I think it was when I look back. But that was a good show. I do like the books. I have like two or three left. I know that the book series also ended probably a lot better. I think I have two left only. Yeah, I have to do like Final Cut and then like Dexter's Dead. And I mean, I liked all of them. They were crazy. Some of them were better, like they were better than seasons of the show, because only the first season of the show was the first book. Then they did their own thing. The show doing their own thing went well. I remember I didn't like the third season. I know that because the killer wasn't that cool. But they did this cool one in the book where like it was a dude who performs surgery on people, but he pumps them with chemicals so they can like stay awake and watch it happen. And he's like cutting all their limbs off, and like it was awesome. It was really really good. Book series is pretty cool, and yeah, so I got to finish that. But then I'm just reading Vonnegut books, and yeah, I have to do. I have Sirens of Titan is my next one. I'm ready for it. I'm trying to get through all of them, like all of his novels at least. But got a long way to go for that. And if I would just fucking pick up a book, I'd you know what I mean? I could be breezing through it right now. Probably still won't after this. Let's just be honest here. You know, I won't tell anybody. You won't tell anybody. We'll just keep talking about it. It's fine. But yeah, hopefully I get in the mood soon and can just start that streak going. That would be ideal, I guess, but we'll see on that. Also, I don't really remember much about it happening. I just want to go back. We're gonna take a couple step downstairs, go back down, real quick, and say that I think that lady, like, fuck that lady, and she definitely Carol Baskin, whatever the fuck, definitely fed her husband to some tigers, cause that's some crazy shit. And that was a crazy lady. Okay, so I'm just adding that. If that's wrong, then I'm sorry. But I mean, that doc did a good job of making it seem like you're pretty wild. That's all I'm saying. That's where I'm leaning in the debate. Okay, that's my idea. That's not my belief. Okay, that's my thought. Chris Rock, Dogma, great flick. A lot of Kevin Smith references today. I don't know why that is. I still don't know why he thinks that his whole look is a good look. That was a good look for a fat dude, not a good look for a skinny dude. Sorry, Kevin Smith. I'm sure you're comfortable. It's all you used to wear. But you could put on like better clothes now. You could put on, regular sized shorts and like not wear a jacket with a hat and a hockey jersey. I don't know. Like, why do you have to dress like a comic book character? It's weird. Like, have a uniform. Because it's not a good one. It's like if you had a good little outfit, like Steve Jobs looked phenomenal. It was perfect for him. Your look was good for fat Kevin Smith. And I'm glad you're not fat. I'm sorry you had a heart attack. I love your work. Big fan. Not a good look for a skinny guy, though. You know what I mean? You got to have skinny guy looks now. Like, if I lost weight, I probably would have to dress a little different. Good thing I'm you know what I mean? But I'm just a little husky boy. So I don't know how dramatic the difference would be. You know what I mean? I'm not a round mound rebound robust motherfucker. I got a little chunk on the side. So I don't know how to compare it. Right? I'm just saying. You could have a better look. You know what I mean? I could clean you up real nice, Kevin Smith. You listen to me. I wear all the comfy clothes. Like I'm either the fattest skinny guy on earth or the skinniest fat guy there is. Like, it's one of the two. I'm right on that borderline. You know what I mean? So like, I gotta dress comfy and a little out of the thing, but like I could wear a medium if I had to. You know what I mean? Just because I prefer XL. You know what I mean? I'm somewhere between medium and XL. Maybe that's large to you, but you don't know how the fits are. Okay? You know what I mean? I got curves, right? I'm like Lizzo. Don't body shame me, bro. But yeah, so I got the comfort swag on lock. So you just let me know. Okay? I got the Lukes. But yeah. I just want to take a little bit, kind of talk about I mentioned at the top that there was like that I have a little new EP out, and yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about the music stuff, how that's been going. I mean, I've been doing it for years now at this point. I started out just doing like making everything with like Logic loops that are like built in. Um, kind of just arranged them around, dug deep, found what I could. Didn't really know what I was doing. Kind of learned it all that way. Some of that shit's fucking awesome. I'll be honest. I'm putting it. It's going up on this on streaming. Like most of it. uh, most of it is like that, and yeah, I got into live stuff just like slow, real slow, like with all the starter stuff. Started with like a fucking Korg Monotron. It's like literally a synth you can put in your pocket. It sucks. Like you can't really use it, but it's so dope when it's your first thing. And I just did like slow upgrades from there. I went like from that to what did I get? The Korg Volca like keys. I was doing like synth on that, and then me and my buddy Justice. That was how we founded Multiplex. I mean, we did a collab record when I was still doing the Logic Loop thing, and then like from there, like we just started doing a collab record, started chilling. Became best buds. He was just on the pod, a couple episodes ago for the 10th anniversary special, if you will. um, and yeah, once I got that synth, he was like, "Let's use that." And we made our first record, Case 30 by Multiplex, streaming everywhere now, or multiplex.bandcamp.com. Shameless plug. Let's run it. Uh, and yeah, I was like, okay, I got to upgrade from this. I bought a Moog Verkstop. Incredibly basic, but incredibly awesome. The only cheap thing you can get from Moog, period. Like, even their pedals, when they sold them, cost more than this fucking thing. But it was cool. We did a lot with it. I used it for a really long time on a bunch of shit. Uh, I have since gotten rid of it. Cause now I got the 808. I was running the 808, the Moog Verkstop. That was my move for a while. That was the multiplex setup for me, and now it is a beautiful 808 with a beautiful 303. Both the remix, but you know, that's why the new record's very like acid housey. It's kind of what I got now. I had to ditch the synths. I don't know how to play synths. You know what I mean? I know how to sequence stuff. That was how the Logic Loops thing worked, and I kind of just realized like that was it. And then I had a Volca sample. Got rid of it. Can't use it. I don't like it. It didn't work. Like, um, you had to record your things on your phone if you wanted to put sound bites into like, and you transfer it through this app through like a wire transfer, and then it wouldn't play your samples right if you, like 10 times in a row. It like lost my third sample, and I would have to like find it. And then yeah, it just didn't. It didn't. You had to like, you couldn't just put a file on there. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't cut up a little snippet of what you wanted to sample and then put that on the app and transfer it. You had to like record through your phone's microphone, and it was bullshit. So I upgraded that to actually something even cheaper. The Akai MPX8. It's a little sample player. So you do the sampling itself on your computer, and then you just put it on here via SD card. If you're gonna cut samples like on your computer anyway, or if that might be something you already do, get this thing then. Like you don't need an MPC unless like that's gonna be your only thing. Um, I also have an MPC 2000, not XL sadly, but out of commission. It works, I think, but I got the floppy drive. I have the other, like the stuff to swap it. I think it's the right stuff. I don't really know what I'm doing though. I can't even upgrade the OS, so I like, as dumb as that sounds, probably 101. But yeah, I don't know what's up with it. I assume it works, but I'm kind of just keeping it as like a nice little thing to have. It looks good. You know what I mean? I collect vintage Apple products. Let's throw in an MPC. Why not? Um, but yeah, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to share a little bit of the journey, but that was kind of how it went down. And then yeah, just as Multiplex kept going, I was like, okay, like let me step my shit up. Like, what could I do solo with this? You know, or like even just like we need to have better things. Like we can't just because originally it was just that little Volca synth and a guitar, and that was all we had, his guitar. And yeah, now we're here, upgraded a lot of shit for sure. And then yeah, I was just like, okay, like solo, I can't be doing these loops anymore. Like, let me do like a live performance thing. That was where Sugar Loop came from. It was just the 808 and a fucking distortion pedal I have, a delay pedal I have, which are both awesome. These tiny little half pedals I got for like $30 a piece. They're fucking fantastic. It's like a Rowan Holy War distortion pedal. It's fucking sick. And then a like Donner, like radioactive. I don't know what it's called, delay, but it's like yellow and has the radioactive thing. They're both fucking great. Uh, I love them. But that was all I used on that one. And it was kind of like, okay, like here's what I can do with the 808. Looking back on it, I mean, I should have spent a little more time on a bunch of the tracks, but 16 tracks for 16 bars and all 808 and effects, and it was cool. I mean, I just wanted to like do a record where I'm like a performer for once. And yeah, that's what led to this next one because now I have this 303 bass line, and I'm like, I got to get this thing on fucking records. Because that was part of the thing. I never used the Volca sample like on anything because it just wasn't right. It was just like having another shittier drum sequencer. It didn't really do any of the things I thought that it would. And I used the new sampler on the new record already, like within not even knowing really how to use it. I got it like a couple days before I was recording it, honestly. And yeah, it worked out great. But the real reason why I want to bring this up is like, you know, you might think like, why the 808? I don't know. How the timing of it was just perfect. It was kind of like how I thought everything was going with me lining up work, and then this fucking coronavirus thing happened. But basically, yeah, I mean, we were just jamming. We were playing a couple shows, and I'm like, I gotta have more than this. Like, we have to have more than this. And I saw that Roland was re-releasing this, like on on my feed on something. And I was like, oh shit, they're remaking the 808. It's like, I don't know. I didn't know what it was worth. I assumed it was worth a lot. Like, I knew that they were out of production and stuff. So I was like, fuck it, I gotta jump on that. And it seemed like a lot of money, and it was. But it was like now it's like, what would I have done without this thing? I absolutely fucking love it. Like it is my favorite thing to play with, like ever. I wish I also had a 909 because I think it would go better with the 303 now. But I bought the 808 because like one, I didn't even know that the 909 like was prominent also in its own right. Because like I grew up on hip hop, like 808 was just a term that like you hear it from fucking hundreds of rappers. You know what I mean? Like you just know about this machine through that. And like I watched the documentary on it and stuff, and I was like, fuck yeah, dude, I'm definitely gonna buy this thing. And that kind of jump started the whole thing. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Like without like Kanye West doing it, probably I don't know if I would have gotten it. Like I don't know if it would have been that big of a deal. I think I mean he is my absolute number one fucking hero, like inspiration, just because he's from here, like he knows the thing, and he's just incredible. Like, I just get it. I think he's a genius. It clicked for me. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna get into that whole thing, but yeah, he's my absolute hero. And a huge inspiration. And I mean, I bought the fucking 808, and history's there. I mean, I'm not trying to be like that. You know what I mean? I'm trying to do my own thing with it. I sound fucking generic and lame as hell right now. So we're just gonna soldier on past that. But that's where that came from. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like I gotta pull the trigger on this purchase, and no negatives. Definitely for other shit that I've had. I had like little gear pieces here and there that I'm like, fuck, I don't need this. And I flipped everything I got. Everything that I've had. I have these two, like, I have a Casio, like, children's synth that's like, fuck it, why not just have it? The box is cool. And then I have this weird Yamaha Portasound thing. I've never heard of it before. There's not that much info on it. The plug is like fucked up. I'm not gonna bother. I paid like $30. But it's cool. It comes in like a little case. It's really the only reason I got it. But other than those two things, yeah, my setup has become super minimal. I got the drums, bass, samples. Boom, we're good. And then this mic that you hear me talking through right now. And yeah, on the new EP, I even did like some vocal takes. The first song, it's just like distorted me talking and breathing really heavy through the whole thing. And then on the third track, I do like little rhythmic stuff over the beat. It's cool. It was fun. So possibly more vocal stuff to come in my music. And I mean, not a whole lot to do. If I don't start reading, there might just be another record that's coming out again already. Because I don't like to sit on stuff, is what I've noticed. Like, no matter what it is, whatever I've made of in any regard, and that's what I like about doing this especially, is that it's like, cut it, post it. You know what I mean? Cut it, print it, post it, book it, we're good, run it. I like just fucking sharing, just go, 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 go. And yeah, it's almost like that's what would be the cool thing about having like a lot of followers, I think, right? Like, because then you don't have to like do any marketing at all for yourself. You just be like, hey, just did a new thing. Everybody's like, oh my God, this guy's doing so much stuff. And it's like, oh, perfect. You know what I mean? I feel like that's where Rogan's at right now. And that's like what he's doing. He's like, I don't have to fucking talk about this or do anything. He's like, a new one's up. Didn't even have to like post or share it. Like, you just have enough subscribers and shit that you can just do that. Like, that sounds like a dream to me. And I've always said that. It's like I don't like having like a financial security is one thing, and like having just income is dope. So that's always a goal. But like I don't have any aspirations to be rich or like necessarily, I guess, famous by default. But like the reason behind it would only be because I could just keep making shit, and I wouldn't have to like have a side gig. That's all that my real goal is. Just to have making shit be my job. That's the dream, and it's like whatever capacity that is what that is. But you want as many people behind your shit as possible, because then it just like makes that much more possible. If that makes sense. So it doesn't need to be on any like grand scale ever. You know what I mean? I think I'm always gonna want more. I'm always gonna want to fucking build is my goal. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, that's the thing. My thing is like, I don't want people to listen to my music for any reason other than like, man, I just wish more people knew about it. I wish more people could hear it. Same thing with this podcast. It's not any sense of like, if I could just get this, then I'd get a check and I'd be good. It's like, while that's like true for everyone, no matter what, the real reason is like, if more people like just have the access and like give it a shot, I think that more people will just like it. You know what I mean? I think that there's an appeal there and a fan base out there somewhere, right? So that's always my mentality going into shit. Is like that, or not going into shit. I guess like with a goal at the end. Like, if a light is at the end of the tunnel, I guess that's what it would be. Like, just like an audience. I wouldn't want anybody to be listening to any of my shit or looking at it or whatever if it wasn't something they want. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's weird. I don't understand how stuff works. Clearly. So yeah, that's just my little spiel on me being a dork, I guess, and not understanding anything about this type of business or how it works. Somebody teach me how to use the internet. You know what I mean? It's weird how like having your parents not know how to use their phones makes you think that like you have an understanding of like the internet, and then you watch Super Size Me 2 on YouTube. It's free with ads. Check it out. Pretty good movie, because it made me realize that everybody doesn't listen. And so, I mean, basically, if you watch that movie, you'll realize, maybe you know this already, but like, I've noticed this as well, that like all fast food places are pretty much just saying like, oh, made fresh, being nice, good stuff. And like, I knew this from Whole Foods, that like there are words you can use to avoid like any USDA like regulation stuff. So like, nothing can say organic if it's not truly organic, but something can say that it's natural, and that just means nothing. Now, I knew that already, but I also knew that at Whole Foods specifically, like the way that they order anything there is like fine, right? So like, I knew that doesn't extend to other stores. That's about as much as I knew. But then, like, in that thing, they're literally like, yeah, young people are fucking dumb. We're just going to tell them everything's good for them, and then it won't be. And basically, you watch that movie, and, like, marketing people are always fucking on top of it. And you're not, they didn't actually listen to anybody. You know what I mean? Like, nothing's actually being done to make our food quality any better or anything like that. They're just using the right words that people want to hear because this generation just decided that that's how it is. And yeah, we're just getting duped and we're eating shit still. And I like I said, like I kind of knew it a little bit, but like hearing the people say it is like, wow, they're really fucking on it, huh? Like they're not. We're never gonna beat these industries. Was kind of a realization that I had there, and yeah, I don't know. Like he had his whole accusation thing, so I'm not trying to like support the guy whether he did. He admitted to it. So yeah, he's a shitty guy. That's fine. Is or was or whatever. That first movie was incredible, and this one was pretty good, and they made a lot of very valid points, and I liked how it worked out in the end. So that was cool, and it ended up being a pretty good thing. I think that it's worth watching. Like period. Like that one. We talked about how Tiger King doesn't have a message. That one does. It very clearly does. And it's pointed out there. And it's actually pretty great, honestly. It takes the whole movie to, like, become what it is. They, like, intentionally don't share a bunch of stuff. And it was honestly pretty well made. Yeah, I liked it. Wasn't as good as the first one because the first one was, one, super impactful, two, like, out of nowhere. It was crazy. And it was just a whole better concept, frankly. But yeah, it was still a good watch, and it's informative. Like, you need to learn, like, it's things that people should learn. So, like, I wouldn't say don't watch this because of that guy, because it teaches you things. You know what I mean? So check that out. But yeah, I guess the way that I realized that about, like, how marketing, like, fucking owns us is the same way that that's the realization that I need to have, that, like, just because I can help people that don't know anything with stuff doesn't mean that I know stuff well enough. You know what I mean? So yeah. But see, then I'm also like, I'm always under the belief that if anybody takes like some kind of seminar on some shit, it's like, you fucked up. You shouldn't be in a seminar like ever, right? It's like, what could a seminar teach me? I feel like nothing, right? So I'm not about to sign up for some little crash course on fucking industry or whatever the fuck you want to try to shove down my throat. I know I'm not going to read your book now, too. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, you're in the hole, $200. Get the fuck out of here with that, right? I don't know. It's just like, who wants to be that guy just sending out emails, right? Like by the thousands to people like, fucking look at me. I'm awesome. I don't know. I don't know how that would work. But yeah. That was my issue with my script, but that script is garbage. Like I just guarantee that from a screenwriting perspective, the script is garbage. I just know that it would work visually and it needs to be rewritten anyway. Period. Like the script is not good, the dialogue is not good. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just self-critical. I don't know. Well, I know that I am, actually. I hate everything. I hate everything I do, pretty much. Or at least something about it. You know what I mean? There's always, like, you look back and you're like, oh, I could tweak that. I could tweak this. But I think that that might just be a graphic designer thing. I don't know. Because all I know is that whenever I talk to designers about shit like that, everybody just gets what I'm saying 100%. Then when I bring that up to other people, they're like, no, you should feel good about blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, look, you guys, like, I'm not, I don't know if people think that, like, being realistic and self-critiquing and stuff is, like, playing for compliment, like, fishing for compliments or what, or if like everybody just thinks that like you're depressed because you do things like that. It's like, while that may be the case at any time, you shouldn't assume that because I'm like critiquing something. I don't know, like it's not negative, it's just observing, right? Like why am I not like, you know what I mean? And then you have to like be like, it's like now you're putting me down. Right? It's like I was the one just like saying a thing, and now you're telling me that like I shouldn't think that, and it's like, well, that doesn't really make any sense. If the whole thing was you don't want me to say it because it's negative, now you're the one being negative to me, and I wasn't being negative to begin with, so seems like we're at a standstill here, right? A Mexican standoff. That's not what that is. Kind of. It's a social Mexican standoff. A little bit. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. We're in the land of make-believe here on Rec for 2, right? But man, I really do feel like Tuesday today. I thought that this morning was Tuesday. I'm recording this on a Wednesday morning. I was gonna do it last night. Ended up getting drunk. That's really all I got. I don't have an excuse. I was like, fuck it. Let me polish this booze off real quick. And yeah, so that's why. But now today's Wednesday. We can have the requiem for the Tuesday that I didn't know wasn't today, right? I mean, it is crazy. Like, I get like how easy it is to just be the what day is it guy. But I mean, even looking at your phone all the time, like, you're not looking at the day usually. I don't know, like, if you're just unlocking or whatever, you can easily not see it. So I think that that's a thing. But I mean, it's just like it seems like you're playing the bit already. It's like what part of your corona is a bit or a meme, and what part of it are you actually dealing with? For me, it's losing track of the day and time. Because I mean, sometimes I'll be like, oh my god, it's only 11 a.m. I feel like I've been up for 5 hours, and then next thing you know, it's like 7:30. Like, damn, it's fucking dark out now. What happened? I haven't been doing anything. Because that's the thing, like I said, I haven't been reading. That's usually a good way to indicate time has passed. But, yeah. I almost wish, this would have been a better thing. And this isn't going to sound good. But, like, this is, like, one thing where, like, being in the past would have helped this case. Because as long as everybody got word to stay inside, everybody would have been good because there wasn't shit to do in your house anyway. Now I have all this shit to do. It's like, just thinking about which one I want to pick makes me not want to pick anything. Or like, what do I want to watch? It's like, I don't know. I've seen everything. Worst time ever to catch up on all your shows, by the way. I just did. I caught up on everything by like March 12th, and I'm fucking lost now. I don't really want to start anything new. There's nothing that like is really that interesting to me. Like I said, I need to watch Watchmen. So I guess that's my next move. But breaks my heart. You know what I mean? Like, if this was the 80s, it'd be like, all right, well, you got like 4 channels, so they're going to pack that broadcast. You know what I mean? You only have to ramp up like production on like 7 things. So they could either make that happen or like they have a bunch of archival shit. Boom, we got 4 channels, pick one, right? And there's nothing else to do. You know what I mean? Now I got all these instruments. It was like, but I just made an album, and I made it because of the quarantine. Like, I spent like the first quarantine week working on it. The original plan was to do it all one take acid house tracks. And I was like, you know what? That's probably not a good idea, especially because the album I had was a lot of like one take minimal at least. So I wanted to layer this one up, and I wanted to do vocals because, like I said, the goal is like I want to incorporate my full setup if I can, at least most of it. You know what I mean? So it's like I got this mic and I do this podcast. Like, why not put some vocals in the music? I think that it went well. I hope you check it out. But anyway. Imagine 1985, I'm sure that it, like, you know what I mean? They would have got through this like it was nothing. They would be like, oh, it's over now? All right. I could have kept going a couple more months, but all right, whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I'm glad I have a Kindle, though. So if I do end up, like, starting books and, like, run out of shit, I can just throw more on there, no problem. For those of you who are anti-Kindle e-reader, listen. I was the same way, okay? I didn't think it made sense. I'm like, oh, analog, like, come on, it's a book. There's no reason to think that, okay? Books are not, books are sacred. I don't really understand that either, but that's a whole nother conversation. But I mean just, like, physically, like, a bunch of pieces of paper isn't sacred. Like, it's about the text that makes, like, books sacred, freedom of speech, and all that bullshit. It's just primitive stuff that stuck around. That's all that I think it is. And that it's one person, I guess that's fine. But then, where's my praise, right? Anyway, not the point. The point is, like, yeah, so, like, the physical paper isn't what's sacred. So get this thing that I don't like having to fold the book back because it ruins the spine and it folds your pages and it ruins the integrity of it. It's like if I own a thing, I want to maintain it and keep it, ideally. Because, like, that's what you do with books. Like, unless you're going to flip a book. Like, if you're buying books to sell them, it's like you are just accumulating debt. You might as well just have a collection of something, that could be, you know what I mean? Whatever. But yeah, like I don't like doing damage to it, and then it like can cramp your hand. If it's a heavy one, if there's a lot of pages, it's hard to hold it open if you're at the beginning or end. Like only the middle is a comfortable spot to just leave a book open. Otherwise, you have to like awkwardly hold it weird or fold, like I said, or fold it. Like your options are pretty limited there. Whereas this thing, lightweight, compact, boom, doesn't hurt your eyes. Looks like a piece of paper. It's a total advancement and amazing. I mean, I don't get how it's not the craziest thing. Like, if everybody had one of these, everybody would still get newspapers for sure, because then you'd wake up in the morning and it would just be on your thing. You know what I mean? I mean, I get that you can just have, like, a feed, but it's nice to read a thing that doesn't have the backlight to it. I intentionally got one without a backlight, because I'm like, doesn't that defeat the purpose of this thing? Obviously, I realize that it would come in handy now, and maybe it's, like, backlit in a way that it's still somehow... I mean, it's still e-ink, right? So it has to... I don't really know how that would work, but... I mean, you can read it with the light on. It works the same... It works better than a book does in that regard, because, like, if you're just under the light, it's going to reflect even more, and you're going to be able to see it no problem. So, anyway, yeah, I fucking love them. And they're dirt cheap. They're like $60 for the base model. That's all you need, unless you're powering through novels like crazy. Then sure, and then all the more reason, like you're saving space. I don't really see anything negative about it, frankly. I mean, Amazon's shitty about it, and they charge a fuck ton. But I mean, it's a little USB thing. You can just plug it into something and throw shit on there. Find some PDFs online. Who the fuck cares, right? Now, I would never do that, right? So don't check my IP. Anyway. I always go into these thinking like, man, I don't have enough to talk about, and then I'll look up at the screen, and I'll have been going for like 45 minutes, and I'm like, Jesus, dude, I didn't even know I was gonna talk about all that stuff, and I kind of mentioned that in the last episode. It's like I didn't even know I had these opinions, bro. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird how much you realize you can process if you just keep fucking rolling. I could probably keep this thing going for like 4 hours if I really wanted to, but then it's like, Jesus, I'm really going to run out of topics. I've always wondered that about like sitcom writers, and I mean, like Larry David used to, like, he said that in interviews. He used to be like, dude, how are we going to write 22 like after they got renewed? Like when they got picked up for the initial 6, he was like, how are we going to write fucking 5 more of these things? You know what I mean? I put everything I had into that one. And then, like, they got a new season. He's like, how the fuck are we going to do 22 of these? And, obviously they fucking crushed it. It's like, I read a thing about Seinfeld the other day that I'm sure is, a lot of people have read and seen before, but I saw it for the first time. It was like, Seinfeld is the first sitcom to achieve the status of art. It's like, I would fully agree with that. Because it is like, it is so good that it's almost a spoof of sitcoms. You know what I mean? It's almost like a meta. It's almost like a meta comedy. And I know it literally gets meta at points, like, which is my favorite part of the whole show, but that's just my meta thing, which I think I've said before. I don't know. Big meta guy. Anyway. Yeah. I mean, it is so much higher quality than, like, everything else. Like, even the other ones that are good that I like, it's like you compare them and it's like, dude, they're not even close. It is like they're like different different types of shows at that point. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I fully agree with that statement. But yeah, I wouldn't. I probably would freak out the same way. I think. I mean, but I think that it would also happen. Is my point. Like, I think that. Maybe some people, especially creative people, don't realize how deep the reservoir is, and if you stop pushing, maybe you run out, maybe you end up doing the same shit, maybe you're not pushing any boundaries. Who knows? Maybe that's where that is. Maybe it comes from a lack of self-confidence, maybe it comes from a lack of trial. You know what I mean? Maybe some people find their comfort zone and they just want to sit in it. I'm a little of both, I think. I think sometimes you find what you're good at and you just like really steer down that lane. That's the nice middle ground, and that's where you need to be, right? So kind of like what I talked about, like with the instruments, like I realized like, oh, this one's not for me. I need to go this route. Like I need to be a rhythm guy. You know what I mean? My thing is drum and bass. Still getting this bass thing figured out. If anybody hears this and like has can like help me work through this 303 a little quicker? Because like I like to only go to tutorials when I absolutely am stuck and like can't. I like to try to figure out the device by myself. But there definitely is a lot that I could learn. I mean, even on the 808, I'm sure that there's a million things I can learn that I don't realize that this thing can do. I mean, I went like a year before realizing I could tune every instrument individually. Didn't even know. It was embarrassing. I mean, but I'm not afraid to share. There's a bunch of shit I found out I could do after the fact, and. So I'm sure the 303 I basically know nothing about. So even the stuff that I'm gonna find out, I'm sure that there's a million things from there. It's just crazy. But yeah, so I mean, like, yeah, I think you should find your lane and instead of like just like moving in, you know, drive down that lane. See what it's like. You know, I say find your route and then really drive down it. That's where you gotta. That's when you gotta start exploring more. Like you explore till you find your shit, and then when you find your shit, you explore that shit. You get to know that shit. You know what I mean? You don't flush that shit right away. You let it sit for a minute. You let everybody know. I took that shit. That's Big John's dump. You know what I mean? And you put your statement down, right? This is my territory. You piss on that fire hydrant. You let everybody know. Don't come to my fucking neighborhood, bro. This is my fucking neighborhood. Okay? And you keep that shit straight. You make sure everybody, puts in their place and, doesn't look you in the fucking eyes. Because, they know. They know that you know that they know that they're scared. Okay? And, whatever. Don't come to my neighborhood. I guess is what I was getting at there. All I can say is that, they just announced that Rick and Morty's coming back, and I think that that's what we really needed. I mean, I need to fucking watch Better Call Saul. It's been driving me insane that I haven't been able to watch it. It's like, how are you guys not putting each one on Netflix, like, to help everybody out? That's the boost that we need, Get Better Call Saul streaming somewhere, episode by episode. Come on. My hope is that when the season's over, they're like, okay, in 2 weeks, we're just going to stream it. You know what I mean? Like, thanks for watching. Because I get it. You still don't want your ratings to get hurt. You got advertisers and shit. So I guess that's fine. But, yeah, I think that they should be like, or at least like, oh, next month. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to replay it a couple times. Try to get rerun value. Boom. Whatever. That's cool. But, I mean, come on. Give it to us. And then Rick and Morty's coming back. That seems awesome. Justin Roiland's new show seems exactly like the same show, but toned down. So I don't know. It's like the way American Dad was at first. Like, I get that American Dad ended up becoming this weird little critical darling out of nowhere. I guess because it fell into obscurity, so everybody's just like, hey, come on, it's actually pretty good. It almost seems contrarian. I don't know. I've liked some of it, but definitely the beginning I did not. I thought that show sucked. I was like, this is just bad Family Guy. Because it was also when Family Guy was still pretty good. But anyway, that's not the point. I don't really know what the point was. Fuck. But no, like, yeah, Roiland's show seems like that. So maybe it'll end up being awesome. I'm sure it'll still be good. Like, he's fucking hilarious. I don't like that the voices are so similar though. But anyway, yeah. I mean, Rick and Morty's my shit. Everybody knows that. One day I'm gonna do the full road trip story when we drove to fucking Kentucky to go to Shoney's because we found out it was a real place. Unbelievable time. But yeah. I'll do a start to finish podcast one day. I wanna get some of the goons in studio. You know what I mean. You guys are hip. You know what I mean? I don't need to pander to any audience, right? I got my audience. This is my audience. You don't come near my audience. If you want to talk to my audience, you talk to me first. I don't know though. I like that everybody's like still kind of trying to do their little shows and stuff, and I like that like the late night shows now are actually about fucking actually interviewing people, and they're like they seem to be having real conversations now. That's cool. Let's continue that and let's make it more long form. How about you just fucking interview somebody for 30 minutes and then somebody else for 20 minutes and then your monologue's 10? How about that's the show? That's what I want to fucking watch. Don't call it an interview if it's fake, Like maybe that's the one bright spot of a change that we'll see. That I would really like. I don't know. Hopefully everybody gets on the same page. I will say that John Oliver definitely needs an audience, whether he says so or not. The lack of laughs it's weird because like I would never say this about a sitcom. Like some sitcoms definitely overdo it when they do it fake, but I guess like having real laughter there definitely makes the show a little bit. I don't know. The punchlines just hit better. Like comedy without laughter is weird though. A sitcom at least is like a story and good acting, so you can do one without an audience. There's plenty of done. Like Arrested Development is fucking unreal funny the whole time, and it would be terrible if it had laughs in it. You know what I mean? I think Seinfeld could have played without laughs. I think that the laughs add something to it. You know what I mean? But it doesn't like rely on it, and they don't seem fake. They seem real, and I know that they're edited. They're always going to be edited. You have to make it sound as good as possible. Like I get all that, but like you know what I mean? It's like the way the Big Bang Theory laughs were. That show would be funnier if it had no laugh track, because that laugh track like is such a turnoff to me. I think that show would be way funnier if they released the entire series with no laugh track. I bet you the critical evaluation and public thought of that show would probably go up. That's just my theory. That's my Big Bang Theory. So, write that down. April 1st, 2020, the Big Bang Theory was announced. Let's make this happen. Let's get some petitions together, you know, and let's see if that'll be a thing. But yeah, I don't know. Like, if imagine watching a stand-up set with no crowd there. That would be so fucking weird. So that's why I don't like that. Like, you can't really have monologues without an audience in comedy. I don't know. I'm sure it could be done. I mean, he did it, and the show was still great. It's always great, but just a thought. Just a thought. Just a little thought. Yeah, I'm getting weird. I don't know. I think I'm hungry. I'm gonna have to get out of here. But no, it is time to wrap up. Check out the record, WolfX everywhere, wolfx.bandcamp.com if you can't find it. Check out Multiplex, also, same thing, multiplex.bandcamp.com. Yeah, that's it. I'm probably going to stick to just doing it weekly, because my thing is, like, if I do 2 of these a week, I don't know. I just think, like, in quarantine, unless I start coming up with, like, if I start like really writing out a couple shows, then I could probably do 2 a week. We'll see. We'll see. Production will at least be it'll be consistent. It may possibly ramp up, but it'll probably just be the same. But yeah, I'll try to get another one going. But yeah, that's the end of this one. Thanks for listening. Never forget, I are fat, you are fat, we are fat. Calculator.